Okay, hello everybody. It's Emma, GAPS coach Emma here, Timeless Cookery, and I have with me today the rather good-looking, I have to say, Jordan Nussbaum. How are you doing today, Jordan?
How you doing, Emma?
I'm really well, thank you. I'm really well, and I'm really honored that you've agreed to come and chat with me today. Jordan signed up for my Timeless Cookery Club, which is an online cookery school. He's a new dad. He's just got a newborn and a father of two now and a beautiful wife. And Jordan's got a really interesting story to share with us about his journey. And I'll let you take it from there because I don't want to put any words in your mouth or, tell us a little bit about your story, Jordan. What's happened with you?
So growing up, I was more of an emotional guy. That was just kind of more emotional, compassion, just cared about people, and just through the Western diet, I could tell that the high sugars, the processed foods were. I knew they were making things worse. I just didn't know how to navigate that. And when you're growing up, you have different stressors. You're learning who you are. Just the navigating the friendships, all those things kind of they added to it. But I knew just the pastas and all that sugar all the time was not good. I just didn't know how to navigate through it. And then as I got older, got out of high school, when you compile, and they say, when you're at that age of after high school and in college, that's when people are usually the most depressed, the most anxious. And that was for me when I just kind of, everything spun out of control because I kind of, growing up, I was a middle child and didn't really realize that it is, they say the middle child syndrome, that you just have this tendency to people please. And on top of being just wanting to always
to
impress.
people please, is that what you said? To
Yeah.
please people, right? Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're not actually looking out for your own best interests, you're trying to just please everybody. So when you said everything spun out of control, what happened?
I started to try and figure out what I was going to do after high school, and I did this internship at my church, and it was a great thing. It's just I didn't feel like I had I had a good foundation with how do I say it, like with my faith, but as far as discovering who I was, I didn't. I think it was more about not knowing how to. There wasn't a lot of life experience, I guess.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say. There was a lot of life experience, and there also wasn't the confidence I needed. That was probably the biggest thing, because the confidence was just coming from what other people thought. It wasn't really from, what I thought about myself. So you compile that with everything else, the not good diet, being the middle child, all those different things kind of just. I think I was 17 or 18 is when I started on psychoactive meds, and was the worst decision I could ever have made. But
darling, you
we're
were
just
so young. You were so young, and
yeah,
then we put our trust in the people who are in the authority positions, thinking that they have our best interests at heart and that they want the best for us, and we're trusting of them. And so you took some psychoactive drugs. They were prescription.
yes.
Yes, right. What was that like then? And you've got to instantly forgive yourself, though. Instantly forgive yourself. It's not your fault. You know what I mean? So
Right.
what was that like?
It was a 12-year journey for me. That if it is so much to that story. What ends up happening with people is you get into this mindset of, I've got to find the right meds, the right combo of meds, the right dosage, the right time I take the meds. It's all just voodoo, really. I mean, it's all
You're kind of on the
my
same road now, aren't you? I'm looking at the right time to eat the right food. You're like, right, when's the right time to eat the right food to feel right? You're like, you've swapped now, haven't you? From that psychoactive drugs to actually let's try and work with the food as the medicine now. Yeah.
It's almost kind of like a self-sabotage. It's almost like you begin to just point at this, oh, this is what's going to help me, this is going to help me, and that it's not. I think, like you had said before you talking to you, it's not about having everything perfect. It's just taking steps and either way, even if you had the most perfect diet, life is not going to be perfect. You know, this life is not perfect. You're going to have battles and you're going to have things you go through. It's impossible to not feel any type of pain. But I think
Word.
along this journey with the drugs is learning that your health comes from your diet, it comes from your exercise, comes from good relationships. Water intake is huge. And I think with doing the GAPS diet, learning that your gut microbiome and getting rid of toxins is the most important thing. But my journey was simply, I remember 2 different years, and they were about 4 years apart in that journey, where I had first time I didn't have a doctor that was like a psychiatrist, it was just my family doctor. And I was put through the whole journey. I'd probably been on 30 different drugs. I mean, it's through that 2014, I got a doctor, was on risperidone, antipsychotic, Xanax and anti-anxiety, and then Wellbutrin, the antidepressant. And honestly, through the whole journey, that was probably the best combo. But for 4 years, again, as we were just talking, I realize now I was just always trying to look for what was the best, and and I was always changing things up, which was my fault. The doctor didn't like that. So eventually, 4 years later, he just dropped me. So then I was in even a worse spot, because now I have meds that I got to get filled. That some I knew that were working, some I'd gotten off, because during that time I was doing better, kind of, and I got married in 2015, and so then in 2018, that was probably even the more worst year, because that was when he dropped me. And then I went to just go see all these other doctors, and oh my gosh, it would have probably been a lawsuit, because I went through probably 15, 20 different drugs. So it's kind of through one of the doctors is pushing me about through 10 drugs. And luckily I had the support of my chiropractor, who, does holistic approaches too, and was able to actually detox me through a lot of supplements and vitamins and stuff. And it helped me get to the point where I at least was functional, because it was really bad with all the toxicity. And that was, that's when I talked to you about the GAPS diet, the toxicity of getting that out of your system is huge. And I know that helps a lot, especially through that year.
I mean, you didn't start off on GAPS, did you? What gave you the drive and helped you make the decision to free yourself from this endless drug road? What was the deciding factor? What made you go, right, that's enough now? How am I? And because it wasn't GAPS that got you off them, was it? You're just looking at GAPS now to try and build yourself back up and get you in a fit state, but you've actually kicked them by yourself, or not by yourself. Tell us the story a little bit.
So I was actually, I don't even know why. I was, again, I could see some of my tendencies. I was looking for Klonopin success stories. Don't tell me why, or ask me why. But I was looking at that, and I came across this nonprofit organization called Point of Return, and I'm like, what's this? And was looking at their site, was looking at just their articles and stuff. I'm like, man, this is like really thorough. Like this can't be, this is real thorough. Or other organizations I looked at were like detox centers, or like a month or 2 it's an intake center, and it's like $50,000 for that one that's in the U.S. And
wow.
And it's not that those, I would never suggest those, because these type of drugs, they're harder than any type of drug, especially the benzos and the sleeping pills. You need a good 6 months to a year at least to successfully come off of and let your body heal, let your neurotransmitters heal, and let your just all your systems be able to adjust. I began to look at it. At first, I just kind of like threw it out the door, like whatever. And they called me. I talked to Alessandra, and she's wonderful. She's such a helpful person. She has her own story that she come off of 8 or 9 psychoactive drugs cold turkey, and she has a book about it, and just her story is crazy. It's mind-blowing what she went through and how she got through that, and how she started the nonprofit. But
so what's her name, this lady?
So I just, her name's Alessandra.
Okay. And it's called Point of Return, this organization. Yeah.
So I started in June of 2020, and they taught me a lot about your diet. Your water intake is huge. Your diet, staying away from MSG, excitotoxins, gluten, all those things disturb your gut and your brain, cause inflammation, make your symptoms way worse. And then they have, when you do the program, you just pay for your supplements every month, and then your liquid dose of your medicine, and then
Wow. So it's a monthly kind of subscription to basically pay for the nutrients that they're giving you to help your body get over the addiction. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the format or the form that the supplements take? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So there's one that you take for your brain health, which they all work together, but it's the mood one. It's a high quality omega 3s, and that helps with your sleep, that helps with your nerves, helps with tons of different things. And it's cool because the program is so in depth that it has a whole pamphlet for you and your physician. It also has a forum that you get on there, and you can talk to people at any time if you're struggling with basically anything. There's like categories for everything, and it's amazing how in depth it is. So with the supplements, there's one that you take for relax. I just throughout the day as needed, basically for anxiety, sleep. You keep that in your system like as kind of like a regulated dose, but you can take it as needed also.
That's probably got quite a lot of magnesium in it, hasn't it? Probably, I'm imagining that.
Well, it's actually from the it's 10 amino acids, but it's from a milk decaptide because they found in mother's milk that it has serious calming effects. So I don't know how that they do that, but
fabulous. It's amino acids. Yeah. So this is, GAPS gives us the stock pot, which is like the magic cauldron of power potion that's full of amino acids. The GAPS, the stock pot that we do on GAPS is jam-packed full of amino acids and gelatin and collagen. And when we ferment the dairy, we'll be getting all of the amino acids from the dairy as well. So that's interesting that your supplements are similar to the foods that we're trying to encourage people to eat on GAPS. That's really interesting. Really interesting.
Isn't it? That's why it would be good for anybody on the GAPS, because it's a lot of these people on this program are very, very sick. They're not sick like mentally, but their bodies are so over toxic that they're struggling a lot. Just put it that way. And so
they're struggling, and they can't really be thinking about different ways of cooking or different ways of preserving foods or fermenting or whatever. It's just too much. So it's easier to just have. Are they in powder form? Do they come in capsules, or are they in powder form?
The fish oil is just a capsule, but it's not even a capsule. Just how it's like a gelatin. The only one that's in a capsule is the relax one. The support one, which is probably the biggest, most important one, is in a powder. You mix it with water. You don't high speed blend it. I think you can mix it with like a light, like yogurt or something, because it can be hard to get used to. Let's put it that way at first. Like I always mix it with water, but it doesn't taste great. But there's a way you can blend it. I never did it. I just thought I'll just stick it out. But that helped me a lot. That one really helped the mind and calm down, help with energy, because it's loaded full of like selenium, B12, a little bit of B6 and B12. It's like just a high grade
all of these
for everything.
All of these B vitamins are supplied by a biodiverse microbiome. So if you've got a happy, healthy microbiome, your body will be getting all its B vitamins. It'll be getting neurotransmitters, the dopamine, the serotonin, the happy drugs. Your body makes the happy drugs, And as you say, the omegas. So we take cod liver oil on GAP. So again, that's what you need is the cod liver oil. It's the omegas, the omega 3 specifically, more than the omega 6, which we've all been ODing on with the American diet, South American diet. Yeah. So interesting. So that was only in June 2020. So how many drugs were
Yeah.
you on then, just before that, before June 2020?
But like the whole duration, or like at times, or just how much?
Well, when you decided that you were going to go for it with point of return, how many drugs were you on at that time?
Just Klonopin at that time, because I always had felt like, well, the benzos at least at that time realized thought like they at least helped kind of curb the anxiety when it got bad. But the problem with any of those meds, especially for me with the anti-anxieties, is you go from super anxious throughout the day to popping a pill, and then you just don't care about anything. But then you're still emotional, and you're more emotional on the meds than you're off of them, because it's disturbing your gut. It's just putting fuel in the fire. And I think the worst thing about it is not only is the moods up and down, but you become a prisoner of them, and you don't even realize it, because you try to come off of them, and the way that they have, the way that they start you out at the half and then go all the way up to one, like it's takes a lot of discipline to come off of them once you're on them. On top of the idea that the right dosage and the right medicine, all that, just this is cycle that you get in. Once you try to get off of them, it's like there's no fast thing, and that's fine. You can't do it fast. You don't want to do it fast, because you want your body to heal properly and learn something from it, how to take care of your body the right way,
Yeah,
naturally, without these petrochemicals that you're putting in your body.
yeah. Fascinating. So that was in June 2020 that you
Yeah,
started supplementing and getting the fabulous support from
yeah.
point of return. And when did you manage? How long did it take for you to finally kick?
It took me 13 months. Um, but each person is different, and that's why it's nice with them, because they know, like, when you call in for the intake, they take all the meds you're taking, your diet, like all your supplements, and they know, like, they have doctors that they have all came off the drugs. It's very, for what you get. I mean, they're basically using it as a ministry to help people. They're not making a ton of money off of it, if just to live, just to
Yeah,
help people, because they've been on them themselves, and they know what it's like. So it's
yeah.
it's just a ministry for them, and but they're very thorough with everything, and it's unheard of, really. And you can call in and talk with them at times whenever you need to talk, and it's pretty amazing.
It's really fantastic. And I have to say that looking at you and hearing your story, you're really bringing it home to me how resilient the human body is.
Yeah,
How, despite all of those 13 years, was it you said? You
yeah,
know, despite all of that, you still have this drive to stay alive and to survive and thrive, despite all of that. And you're looking well, relatively speaking, considering everything that's gone on. It's like, wow, Jordan, it's like, wow, human beings are amazing. Human beings are so
yeah,
resilient. If you can put your mind to it. And I mean, it must have been a massive struggle to not feel right, but still to move forward and and go, I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna do it. Wow, you're a testament to the power of human spirit. And I know you've mentioned it to me before in passing, not as a big conversation point, but how much of your recovery would you attribute to your faith?
everything.
Really?
In fact, I try to be, what's the right word? I try to be respectful of people, but it's hard to not talk about it, because I can I don't hate to go off topic, but I can tell you of a miracle, just in, was it May of 2020, before I got on the drugs. I literally had a tractor flip on top of me, and had it moved any which way, I would have been crushed.
Wow.
Um, I wasn't supposed to be here. Like, my mom was breadwinning with me, bed fast with me for 3 months. Like, I almost came out multiple times. Like, I could just look past my life, and I just knew that God had His hand on my life. And just having a relationship with God. It's nothing. I've learned it's not about religion. It's not about doing a set of things. It's just having a relationship with Him, and He wants that. He's got good for you, and that was the thing that's kept me alive and still just pushing on, just having that.
Wow, it's like you thought you were going. Yes, yeah. I'm getting goosebumps listening to you. I recently had, when I say recent, I've had some struggles in my time. We built a house and then we had to dismantle it because we couldn't get planning permission. We lived in the house for 3 years and then suddenly we had to just take it down. We went to high court, so we had loads of court fees. We kind of got a bit bankrupted. My husband and I split, and before that I was working on the farm and I was teaching a young man how to use a scythe. I don't know if you know a scythe. It's a big long blade on a stick, and it's an old-fashioned way of cutting the corn or reaping, or it's a scythe. It's what the Grim Reaper carries.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, except it's an amazing tool. We think of it as a tool for death. It's not. It's a tool for life. It's an amazing tool, and I love my scythe. And I was teaching this young man to use it, and it got tangled in some weed, and he was pulling it, and he pulled it hard, and it shot over his shoulder where I was standing behind him in the safe zone, and it hit me in my face. The point of the scythe hit me in my face.
Wow.
And basically, it was like a bell rung in my head. It was like the blade clanged on my skull and went ding, and I fell back on the grass like this. And it hit my skull basically and grazed on the inside of my mouth along my teeth. I had like jaggedy bone kind of sticking out on the inside of my thing there. So it was a big hit. If it had been an inch this way, I would have been blinded. If it had been an inch this way, it would have brained me up my nostril. If it had been an inch this way, it would have sliced my face and cut my ear. If it had been an inch this way or two, man, it would have been the end of me. It would have been cut, or through my jugular or whatever. I got home and went to bed and just was like, thank you so much for sparing me. Whoever's hand was helping that young man to not kill me accidentally, and whoever steered me to be standing at exactly that spot at exactly that moment, because we were both moving at the same time. I had been bending down and I stood up, and he would pull the thing. We were both moving at the same time, and I just thanked my lucky stars, thanked the Lord, thanked God, thanked the universal energy of the universe. Who knows what to call that thing? But when you have, and at that point I sort of went, I need to do something really, really important with my life. I've been spared. I'm still alive. Thank you so much.
Right.
I need to get on with this and like really do something like proper, important. Like I'm important and I need to do something.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Most definitely you are.
And we all are important.
No.
Everybody's got
Fair.
a special message for someone, and everyone you meet, everyone's got a special message for you. We need to be open to each other, to listen, to hear what people are saying, how they're feeling, whatever. And be starting to really live in compassion and love. And if that comes from faith in whatever, then bring it on. I'm saying we all need it. Yeah.
We do. And we've been so conditioned to climbing this corporate ladder of, getting to success and whatever that is, just it always is for some reason materialistic about how, me having more than you. And that's not what human beings should be about. And plus, we're not designed that way. We're designed to help one another, have a relationship with one another, to commune with one another, not to, I'm up here and you're down here. No, that you're not going to live a fulfilled life. You're not going to be happy. Not going to be to live your potential and be happy, except if you're helping other people and giving of your life. So whether it's just a little bit every week or a little bit every day, whatever that looks like. But when you do that, that's what refreshes you. That's what gives you life.
Beautiful.
Or adds to your life.
Yeah. And that can even just be by being quiet when you first wake up in the morning and being grateful and calling on the universal energy, and then sending that universal energy and love to someone else. You don't even have to tell them. You don't even have to say anything. You could just be like sending love and healing to someone. we've all got the power to do that thing. We need to start using it and fast, because there's some dark stuff going on out there. And it's about time we all spent time anchoring the light, the universal love, God's love, whatever we want to call it. I don't care what anyone's denomination is, you know, Jesus, Allah, Buddha, whatever you want to call it. I don't mind. Mother Earth, just that power, that universal energy. We are channels for it, and we can anchor that love and light and send it out to people. And we need to start doing that. All need to start doing that ASAP.
We do.
Yeah,
we
man.
do. We've gotten so far away from that.
Yeah. What an inspiration you are, Jordan. Thank you so much for sharing your story with everyone. I just know it's going to inspire people and give them the idea that we're amazing beings with remarkable resilience and powers of healing that are beyond our wildest dreams, actually. And I just know that you're going to inspire people. So thank you so much. So lots of love to you. And I'll leave the links below if anybody's interested in finding more about the organization you were talking about, Point of Return.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, lots of love.
Thank you.